All right. Well, time to get into what will be my favorite topic of the day. Tom Brady. Tom Brady, the greatest of all time, went on a podcast, the Joel Klatt Show, and they were talking lots of football. And Joel asked Tom Brady, of the great quarterbacks that are active today, and there are a lot of them. We like to debate all day long about Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. Obviously, Mahomes has the edge on all of them with his Super Bowl rings. And so Joel asked Tom Brady, like, who do you think will be the next guy to get a Super Bowl over Patrick Mahomes? Tom Brady, just a heads up, refused to answer it because he doesn't like making those types of predictions. But it turned into what I thought was a very good motivational message for Lamar Jackson and the other guys that don't have the rings yet. And he talked about, he's like, I don't know which one of them is going to do the following, but whoever does the following is going to be the next to win a ring. And this is how it went down.
I mean, naturally, most people would say Lamar or Josh, and because they've been the closest. Championship games, MVPs, they have the highest expectation. I mean, football is different. It's like every year you start right at the bottom with everyone else. And I don't love predictions and hypothesizing because it's up to them. It's not up to the words I say, or it's not even up to the words they say. It's what they do over the next 6 months with their teammates and coaches in order to put themselves in a position to be successful.
Are there guys in the league that you really respect the way they go about their business, or maybe remind you of you?
I think from afar, I can only tell so much because, if I was in there every day, I could see their habits.
Yeah.
It's always that line about who wants to win versus who's willing to do whatever it takes to win.
Yeah, because everyone wants to win.
Everyone wants to win, but what are the habits and the daily habits and the actionable things you need to do every day to put your team in a position to win? So Patrick Mahomes, to me, is the one that does that the most often.
Sure.
There's other guys that are still developing, and they need to prove it before, in my mind, I can say, oh yeah, he's done it. Well, obviously, he hasn't done it yet. They've all shown flashes of amazing things. They're all great players. All of them can make tremendous plays. At some point, they need to take the next step and take, in my mind, more ownership of what they're doing in terms of the organizational level to do more things to empower more people, to get more people on that train or that bus with you to head in the direction you want to go. Because I think the quarterback, in many ways, is the CEO of the team, certainly on game day. There's nobody that impacts the game more than the quarterback in NFL football. Now, you have to have the ability and the belief from the entire team, offensively and defensively, that your word means so much. And how you act every day matters to all three phases of the game. So I just don't think as a quarterback you go and you punch the clock. I did my job. I threw for 40 touchdowns. Why are we not winning?
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing in the offseason to help your defense? What are you doing to push the personnel department to get people doing the right thing? Are you involved in game planning? I mean, I used to do game plans.
Sure.
I used to walk in there and say, these are the things we're doing. Okay, I used to do my own walkthroughs. I used to go, all right, guys, I don't give a fuck if the coaches want to come. We're doing our walkthrough.
Right.
We're going to come up with our own signals. We're going to come up with our own, because this is what I need to be on the field to be successful. So that's what Peyton Manning did.
Yeah.
That's what Drew Brees did. That's what Phillip Rivers did. That, to me, is what the great quarterbacks do. So are these other guys going to come in and say, you know what, I know I'm getting paid a lot, and I know that I do a lot, but what can I do more so that we can accomplish more?
Ooh.
That was awesome. That was
Tell
the
me
first
what
time I heard.
Give me your impressions. You just
You
heard
brought
it for
it
the
in.
first time. No, you
brought
go first.
it in. It was, wow, is that fun to consume? Watching the GOAT just talk about and bring us inside his way of thinking in terms of how you have to essentially be the CEO when you're a quarterback. You have to be in every single position group meeting almost. Not really, but the fact that he's going through walkthroughs, the fact that he's going to the personnel department, the fact that he's game planning as a quarterback. You have to have self-mastery down in order to get into the game planning. You have to be so comfortable with your role, and you have to have such a hold on the offense in order to get into game planning, Sarah? Think about that. Like you have to have such an expertise in what you do schematically, who you have at your disposal personnel wise, who you're going up against, to then say, yeah, actually that opponent that we're going up against, I feel like I'm pretty well studied over there. Now I'm going to go get my hands involved in game planning. What if it's a short week? What if there's life going on? What if you have kids? It's just, it's remarkable. The thumbnail that we're going to have for our repurposed piece here, it says sacrifice everything on it. And I'm sure some are out there like, well, yeah, Tom over-sacrificed because look what happened to his marriage. I think that's unfair. We have no clue what happened. At least I don't. I haven't looked into it in terms of what happened with he and Giselle. We know it was heavily publicized as any divorce would be when it's Tom Brady. But sacrifice everything. When you read his book, when you watch the documentaries, when you think back to the New England days, that dude had his blinders on and it was football all the time at 100 miles an hour. And I think Lamar is different than Tom when it comes to,
well, their style of play.
For sure. Where I'm going
and
with
how
it
vocal
is,
they are.
yeah, they're just different leaders. And that doesn't mean that Lamar's his style isn't as effective. We always talk about that with Ray, right? Because we just, the two greats are always compared to one another, even though it's different positions, different sides of the football, so on and so forth. But it doesn't mean that Lamar's tendencies, Lamar's habits, and his traits aren't as effective. And now we're seeing that in recent seasons, and this offseason in particular, that vocal sort of uptick that everybody's been clamoring for is starting to happen naturally as he gets ready for his 8th season. So just appreciated the heck out of that. Great find by you.
I mean, literally, like I remember growing up, not even growing up, that's not the right word because I was an adult. I was covering the Ravens when they were trying to like beat Tom Brady and the New England Patriots. And finally Joe Flacco did. And the Ravens offense, and it all came together in that magical season. And so I did not like Tom Brady because he was always in the Ravens' way. And at the same time, you have to appreciate greatness when it's staring you in the eye. And Tom Brady is the greatest of all time. And so when he says, hey, there's a difference between everybody wants to win and who's going to do what it takes to win, who's going to give everything to win. And he talks about punching a clock. This is hilarious to me. Punching a clock to him is throwing for 40 touchdowns. Throwing for 40 touchdowns is insane. It's not the best ever. Some have thrown for 50 or more, but throwing for 40 touchdowns is a lot. And to Tom Brady, it's punching the clock because it's not enough. It's not enough to say, I threw 40 touchdowns. Where's the defense at? It's not enough to say, I threw 40 touchdowns. Where's my kicker at on the field goal? Right? Because you can't control all of that. So he's saying, go in there, to your point, and be the CEO of the team, get in there for game planning, get in there for personnel stuff. And Lamar's done that. That's why Hopkins is here. That's why Odell Beckham was here for a minute. But this word sacrifice that you just brought up, Bobby, this hit me when I was listening to Tom Brady speak, and then also Ray Lewis. And I am going to play part of what Ray Lewis said to the team. But you see Lamar, we know his faith. And on his headband there's a purple background with the white cross. And this is at the center of Christian faith. And that cross is more than just signifying whether you believe in Jesus Christ or not. The cross, what it signifies is sacrifice. That's what it is. That's at the center of that faith. And why? What are you saying? You're saying, I'm going to sacrifice kind of like a lower version of myself to get to a higher version of myself. I've said this I've said this before on the show, that like, I don't want to be a good YouTuber or a good podcaster. I want to be a great one. And what if what I'm doing, what if who I am today is getting in the way of me becoming a great podcaster, right? So I need to sacrifice the parts of me that are holding me back to a greater me that I can become. I don't want who I am today to get in the way of who I can become. And that is at the center of what sacrifice is about. It's the invention of bargaining with the future. And so that's why I loved PHP in his super chat that he gave us. He's like, you don't sacrifice tomorrow for today. No, it's the opposite. You sacrifice today for tomorrow because of who you can become, because of who you want to be. Lamar Jackson and the Ravens want nothing more than to become Super Bowl winners. And Tom Brady is here saying, then sacrifice everything that's holding you back. Not good stuff. Sacrifice can be manipulated if out noise gets in there. Okay. You have to be focused. What you want to do is sacrifice things that are taking away your focus. If there's good, better, best. You want to be focused on the best. Sacrifice the good. Sacrifice the better for the best. That's what that cross is all about. It's sacrifice, because that is what is at the center of greatness. It's at the center of individual greatness. It's at the center of team greatness. It's at the center of community greatness. That's what it's all about. And what's great also is not only is he wearing that the day that Tom Brady speaks, but he wore it when Michael Phelps and Ray Lewis came to practice and said the same thing, had the same theme when they were at practice yesterday in Owings Mills.
Every single day, you have to be on top of those small things. You miss a step, you're giving your opportunity or your opponent something else. For me, every single box was checked off. When I stepped up on the block, I knew what was going to happen. My dreams and my goals were bigger than anybody else on the planet, especially in the swimming pool. I worked the hardest.
What will you do with time? Life goes. Life keeps passing. And one day, you're going to go back and say, what did I do with time? Did I waste it? Did I use it? Did I abuse it? I don't care what you have. It's how you use what you have. I don't care what's in front of you. It's the moment that you feel that I have to give everything I got to the preparation. So when the moment comes, I soar in that moment. This is where we're missing life. This is where we're disconnected, because everything else can pull you away from what you're supposed to be doing, which is your purpose. Talent is the easiest thing you will ever be given. It's what you do with it that decides your purpose. We're talking about a championship. A championship starts with a mentality of using that facility. If I was me, I'm over here at 9:30 at night because there's nothing else to do but go to sleep at the crib. If I'm trying to touch glory. And you're standing there and it's your moment and it's 4th and 2. And I'm saying, I've saw this hand before. If you do that same thing on me, because of my preparation, I will destroy your entire dreams. Proper preparation prevents poor performances. Stop riding on talent. Ride on purpose. Ask God every day, what is my purpose in life? What am I supposed to be doing? How am I supposed to lead somebody, even when we lose? Hold your head up high.
Woo! If you want to touch glory, Bobby. People say they want to touch glory, but if you really want to touch it, he's talking about it. Have purpose, have focus, have sacrifice. What a great message from the GOAT yesterday, who has touched glory twice in terms of football greatness, football glory with the Super Bowl rings. Michael Phelps with how many gold medals? I don't know, the most decorated Olympian of all time. He's giving the same speech, sacrifice what it takes to touch glory. And Tom Brady, the same message. There's no shortcuts. It's no shortcuts. We can fool ourselves all we want. You got to sacrifice the good, the better for the best. And that's how you touch glory. What great messages yesterday from three GOATs.
Proper preparation prevents poor performance. This dude was just spitting. And you try saying that as fast as he did and as cleanly as he did, and you realize how much of an incredible motivational speaker Ray Lewis is. But yeah, what a decorated guest day yesterday, Sarah, at one winning drive. To your point there, 2-time Super Bowl champ Ray Lewis, of course, part of the inception of the Ravens organization, never looked back. He and J.O. led that and had that torch and held it for years and years and years, and will continue to until they win another one in the post-Ray Lewis era, which is obviously what they're still looking for. Then, to answer your question about the GOAT in the swimming pool, Michael Phelps 23 gold medals,
Oof.
most all time, 28 total medals throughout his illustrious career. So for them to not just come different days, no, they're breaking down the same huddle. They're giving you messages back to back. And when you go back and listen, I know you snipped up just a minute or two there. You go back and listen to the full thing.
Mhm.
Michael gives his speech, and Ray has the audacity to say,
How can I follow that?
how can I follow that? That's what everybody in the history of time says, and we all mean it. If anybody has to follow Ray Lewis, I mean, he's just on a different level of motivation, and that was a star-studded, moving day, I would imagine, especially if you're a young player that's new to the building, Sarah, and you don't have familiarity with these two legends, and now you're just feet away from them, able to soak up every single word. What a day at the castle.